I'm going to call this meeting to order at 10:33 a.m. Hi, everyone. And with that, I will turn it over to our Director of Communications, Amy, who will be taking roll call. Amy, are you on here? Okay, I don't know. Maybe she stepped away or something, but
I can do
right?
it.
Thank you.
Yeah. President Naomi.
Present.
VP Ramses. Absent. I just saw Amy's message. Her mic's not working. Let's see. Director of Legislative Affairs, Jacob.
Present.
Let's see. I'm just going to go down the list here. Amon.
Present.
Present. Cabe. Rep. Mark Shepard.
Present.
Amy. You can just raise your hand. All right. Amy's here. Senator David.
Here.
Present. Senator Sasha.
Present.
Present. Senator Afsoon.
Present.
Present. Senator Stacy.
Present.
Present. Senator Rachel.
Present.
Present. Thank you. Sorry, let me just write these down. Senator Soule.
Here.
Here. Got Amy. Senator Beheshta.
Present.
Present. Senator Reed.
Present.
Nick, I forgot your title. This is terrible.
Director of Public Relations. I'm
There
here.
we go. Thank you. I'll learn eventually. Director of Public Relations, Nick, is present. Let's see. Senator Mary Kay.
Present.
Senator Hamza.
Present.
Present. Senator Oscar.
Present.
Present. Did I not call anyone? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 out of, we have 15, excuse me, 15 out of 19 present. Quorum's been met.
Awesome. Okay, quorum has been met. Moving on to adoption of the agenda. So you should have all seen that on the website. Hope you all got a chance to look at it. I'll give you a few seconds to look it over.
Chair, can I make one amendment?
You can make the motion, yeah?
All right, so I move to amend. I don't have it in front of me. Is it 10.4? That was the one where Sasha made the motion.
Oh, we're not at minutes yet. I think we are on agenda right now.
Oh, I thought you said minutes. My bad. I withdraw my motion.
No worries. Okay, hearing and seeing no other comment on the agenda will be adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes.
So now I move to amend section 10.4 and insert after Sasha's motion and second to insert wording that clarifies that the that the resolution was not adopted.
Nice.
Okay.
Second. By the way, Ramses is here.
And do we need a vote on this, Brett? Do you know? Your mic is off.
For the minutes,
Yeah.
if there's no objections, you don't need to.
Okay, if there are no objections, the amendment will be approved. Okay, hearing and seeing none, the amendment will be added to the minutes. Okay, and then if there are no other objections, the minutes will be adopted. Okay, hearing and seeing no other objections, the minutes are approved. Moving on to chair message. I don't have a lot to say today. I will say that 3 days, October 26th, the class schedules are coming out for the spring semester. And then would that be the summer? No, spring semester, and then summer goes with fall, right? Okay. Yep, spring semester will be in 3 days. The class schedules are coming out then. So, be ready for that. I always love planning it. And then later, not so much, but what? Okay, let's see. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything else to add at this point. So moving on to advisor message, Brett.
All right. Aloha, everyone. Happy Friday. Week 9, if I'm not mistaken, if I did my math right, or is it 10?
I'm not sure. I think it's 10, but I don't even.
It's over halfway. I know that. So yeah, just a few announcements, but I did want to start off by acknowledging everything y'all are going through right now. Juggling school, if you're working, this role as a student leader, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, especially given, what maybe goals you had in this role. And now it's just kind of been hard to adjust now that we're all remote and we're not in the ASB offices. And so I just wanted to give each and every one of you a shout out for continuing to be here and showing up and showing out every week. You've made a lot of advisors around the district and actually across the state quite jealous when they asked me, how's your board doing? I was like, well, we got 19 folks here. So, it's pretty awesome to see. So give yourselves a round of applause. You all deserve it. Just a couple of announcements. Let's see. There's going to be a career fair. If you all remember last year, it was like in the student center when they had all those folks from various companies. They are going to do it again this year, but not at the student center. It'll be virtual, obviously. So another save the date for you, Tuesday, November 17th is when they're going to host that. I believe it's from 10 to 4. They still have over 50 companies that are going to participate in that. So if that's something you're interested in, I will get you the flyers as soon as I get them. But just wanted you all to know about that. I sent you all an email, the board members, about item 10.3 today. So I don't know if you all saw that, but they're just questions from another president impression panel. So take a look at that and bring that to the discussion for later. Voting, November 3rd is the election day. You probably all are aware of that by now. ARC is an actual polling place. So if you live in Sacramento County, you could realistically drop your ballot off at ARC. So if you're nostalgic and want to go see the campus, starting October 31st through November 3rd, you can actually drop it off there. And it's in the community rooms. Shout out to Naomi, who's going to be volunteering to work at one of the polling locations. So thank you for volunteering. Let's see, a couple other things real quick.
I mean, it's not really volunteer. We are paid, so I want to make that clear. I'm paid for it.
Volunteering your time, it's a civic duty. It's important. So let's see, I can't even read my own handwriting. It's the end of Undocu Scholar or Undocu Week of Action this week, but we've actually as a district extended it out a few weeks. So programming has not ended yet. There was a student panel yesterday that was really good. I don't know if anyone was able to make it, but on election day, there's going to be a space for students that may identify as undocumented to just kind of hang out. because as you may know, they can't vote, but they still want to be civically engaged. So it's a space for them. And then I think that's it. I'm going to hand it back over to Naomi. And I have a lot of anxiety because tonight is game 3 of the World Series. Last week I told you don't follow baseball, don't like it. And now I'm all back in because the Dodgers won 3 in a row, won the series, and now they're in the World Series. So I'll probably tell you next week I hate it again. But with that, I hand it back over to Naomi. So thank you.
Thank you, Brett. And Sasha, to your question, I think it might be too late just because you have to do a training or a set of trainings to be a poll worker. So, and I think that's passed. So I'm not sure, but I can tell you can go to vote.org to register for the future as a sign up for the future as a poll worker if you're interested. So that's a resource there. Okay, moving on to public comment. This time is reserved for members of the public to address the Student Senate on issues not already appearing on the agenda. A limit of 2 minutes per speaker shall be observed with a maximum of 4 minutes per topic. No discussion is allotted on public comment. The law does not permit any action to be taken, nor extended discussion of any items not on the agenda. The ASB Student Senate may briefly respond to statements made for questions posed. However, for further information, please contact the ASB Student Senate President for the item of discussion to be placed on a future agenda. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to appointments and swearing in. I do not have any appointments and swearing in for today, for now. So moving on to unfinished business. Again, no unfinished business. So moving on to new business. And first item under new business is the Student Advisory Committee task forces. I'm always on the fence about this. Do we need to have a motion to move into discussion?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
I move to discuss.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to discuss the Student Advisory Committee task forces. Again, another question related to that, Brett. Do you know for presentations, like when we have the just various presentations, like when we had Pamela Whipple, do we need a motion for that too?
It depends how the agenda item's written, but normally if it's a guest doing a presentation, you don't need to. I'll follow up with a parliamentarian on that, but I'm pretty sure as a guest, that's how you can have more than 2 minutes of public speaking. So at that point, you're a guest of the board.
Okay, thank you, Brett. Okay, back to the main item. Okay, Student Advisory Committee task forces. I'm going to try to share screen and see how well this works. Can I do that? One sec. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to fiddle around here. Oh no, I'm getting a call. Okay, share screen. Sorry. Okay, start broadcast. Okay, can someone let me know if you guys see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, thank you, Brett. Okay, so I cannot see anybody from the Zoom work, but so what you're looking at right now are the different work groups that were created by the Student Advisory Committee. And these are some tasks and initiatives they're planning on working on for each of these different work groups. So I wanted you guys to take a look at this because we need moving on to here, it's person of interest from each campus and then members from each campus. And of course, it doesn't need to be in Student Senate or in CABE. It can be anyone from our college. But so we only have one person of interest right now. So we want to fill these up. So right now, the different task force are the Black Lives Matter Task Force, the Student Services Task Force, the Legislative Affairs Task Force, and the Communications Task Force. And, these are run by students. And what it means for POI, by the way, person of interest. So what they're planning on doing here is having a rotating chair situation where each POI takes a turn at being the chair of a meeting. So that's how they're trying to make this kind of equal here between the 4 colleges. So I wanted you guys to get a look at this because I know I brought it up in the past, but I want you guys to be able to see really what they're trying to do in all of these. So you can see student services here, basic needs, communications, legislative affairs, and the student-led Black Lives Matter Task Force. These are all different things they want to work on in all of these. So, if you see anything that you're really interested in here or just want to learn more about, please let me know if you're interested in signing up as a person of interest or just as a member if you're not ready to chair a meeting yet. Does anybody want to add to that? Anything there want to learn more about in this? Any questions, concerns, comments, regards?
Chair.
Sasha,
Yeah.
go ahead.
What is the farmers market event? What is that?
So it is not, obviously it's not a set idea yet, but I know I've heard of some of the other colleges outside of our district who have had farmers markets on campus. And this is based on that. And this is one that I was really excited about too, because, I think it's, if our campus was open, it would be a really cool event where, you can provide for your students, but then you can also draw in local businesses, local businesses for this. So I don't know. Obviously, it's really early. They just want to work on it, want to get it on the table. But the difficulty with these work groups is that it's a new thing. We haven't had these kind of work groups before. So a lot of it is going to be kind of a little bit of inventing the wheel here in our district, but it should be really exciting too. I mean, you've been working with a great group of people, and yeah.
Chair?
Stacy, right?
Yeah, thank you. My question actually follows Sasha's, and it's about the garden listed just below the farmer's market, because I see those things maybe being hand in hand.
My guess is, yeah. I know we have the horticultural area at ARC. I don't know about the other colleges, but I'm assuming they have something like it. They do grow vegetables. They have a little vineyard. So I'm assuming, yeah, this is another way to help that part of campus also.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Chair.
Any other? Oh, Jacob, was that you?
It's Sasha.
Sasha, okay, sorry. Okay, Sasha, go ahead.
The parking lot Wi-Fi, what is that?
Yes, so that is, I think this idea has also been brought up in our student senate, is having the parking lot available for students to come in and use the Wi-Fi since the campus is actually closed.
Is there a way it could be put on that possibly?
Just on that topic, or are you talking about being put on the basic needs committee? Because to work on that specific topic,
Okay.
with it before, you'd have to be added as a, and right now Mark is signed up as our POI, but of course you can still you could still say that you're interested in signing up as just a member of the group.
Okay.
So if you're interested, now's the time.
I
Obviously, you guys can let me know anytime later also, but
I think I want to be on that because that seems really cool. There's the farmer's market, there's the parking lot, there's the garden. There's just a lot of interesting things in there.
I know one thing, for me at least, with basic needs here, before we all went remote, was the feminine hygiene products, having that available for free to all students, which I was really excited about. But you know, we're remote, so less prevalent now. Okay, we will eventually move back to appointments. So Sasha, you will be appointed to the Basic Needs Work Group Task Force.
Thank you.
Naomi, you could just do it right now because it's an agenda item.
Oh, okay. Sasha, you are appointed to the Basic Needs Task Force. Awesome. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if anybody else sees anything they're interested in, you know, and even if, you know, you're questioning the time commitment here, really, I think it's however much you put into it, just because, you know, it's very student-led. And if you know anybody who might be interested in it, or if you want to let other people know, please do. Right, this is open to any student to join. This is not just for Student Senate or CADE. Nick, I'm gonna single you out here a little bit. I know you are working on the Discord and Slack for our own for ARC, and I know that right now the Student Advisory Committee is also creating their own Discord in the communications task force. So if you're interested in sorry for singling you out, but if you're interested in joining that, you know, let me know.
Yeah, sure. There is one more point in communication section, like the last point. I think it's like assigning senators to connect with departments. I'm doing that too because I was thinking about making some sort of like outreach system for student government so that we can connect with students directly, and so I'm interested in doing that too. And also fundraising. I want to learn more about fundraising.
So would you like to be appointed as a POI or as just a member?
Sure, but what my responsibilities are going to be?
Okay, could you say that again?
What are my responsibilities going to be?
Right now we don't have specific responsibilities yet. Like I said, this is all very new. So I think that is something you'd have to discuss when in the work group. This is our way of just getting started on the issues, I believe.
Okay, so then what are the work groups going to be like? So I mean, is it purely student government or okay?
Yep, this isn't going to be any shared governance committee, so you'll only have students in this so far.
Mm-hmm. So so basically, if I'm a person of interest, essentially I am a chair in the committee.
You are a co-chair between all of the 4 colleges, right? Because it's you basically have 4 co-chairs that kind of rotate who's officially chairing a meeting.
Oh, so all of those tasks are interrelated between colleges?
Yep.
Those 3 colleges. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see. And so regarding my points, is there anyone is there any person of interest from other colleges?
Right now we do. I know that FLC, they have appointed a person of interest for each of the work groups, but they are the only one who's really who did that at the last meeting. Okay. I know right now if you look at the chart, I think I have right now, Marcus signed up as our basic needs person of interest, and then Nien from CRC, she's the CRC president. She signed up as the communications POI.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So here you can see these are the POIs here, ARC POI and then here's Black Lives Matter Task Force, here's Basic Needs, here's Student Services, Legislative Affairs, Communications. Right. I didn't go over this. Sorry.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. I thought for each task there's gonna be a separate person of interest. Yeah, now I get it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yes, there's a separate person of interest for each task force. But are you saying for each task?
Yeah, I thought for each task, but for yeah, it is for
Okay.
each task force. Yeah, yeah. Now I get it.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So am I gonna be appointed there?
If you do you want to be appointed as the POI for the communications?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Then Nick, you will be appointed as the POI, the person of interest for ARC for the communications task force.
Cool.
Yeah. Um.
Here.
Yes.
For the mental health task for the COVID-19 health concerns, can I be pointed on that part for the mental health?
So it's not based. So is there a work group you want to be assigned to?
So yeah, so I would be interested in the basic needs.
Basic needs work group. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I don't have the Zoom app open, so I'm not sure who's speaking right now.
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay. Oscar, you will be appointed to the basic needs work group. And since Mark is right now our POI, you'll be appointed as a member of the group.
Sure. That's great.
Yay. Oh, this is great. I'm so happy. And then I know Aisha, for those who know Aisha, who is the former president of the Student Senate and the current vice president of CABE, she's also interested in a couple of these. So you might see her in some of your your work groups.
Naomi, can I ask a logistics question?
Yes.
So will it be up to the POIs to determine like we're gonna meet Wednesday at 3 o'clock or how?
I'm assuming the meetings will be run very much like how our student senate committees are being run, like the governance committee and whatnot, where you're basically deciding the meeting, each meeting individually, depending on what works for everybody's schedule.
Okay. Are you allowed to share out this with the board?
Share this. I am not sure. I will check with Tony first, but I can definitely share a screenshot. So
Okay.
I'll talk to Tony first and see if I can share the actual spreadsheet. But if not, then I'll at least send you guys that screenshot of this.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm just so like Nick or Mark can reach out to the FLC or CRC or Sac City folks. They need their contact info. So right on. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Good question. Right. Okay. So we have Sasha appointed to basic needs. We have Oscar appointed to basic needs, and we have Nick appointed to the communications POI position. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Is there anyone else at this time who wants to be appointed to one of these work groups?
Chair?
Stacy?
Yeah. May I
Awesome.
please be appointed to basic needs?
Yes, you can. We will have Stacy. You are appointed to the basic needs committee or work group. Sorry.
Thank you.
If there's no one else who wants to be appointed to one of these work groups, then I'm going to close this issue and move on from this. Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to the next item of new business, which is lobby day topics. Hi, I think you guys can see me now, right? Okay. So again, this is another one. Actually, I can, hang on. I'm going to share screen again. Sorry. Okay. I think you guys should be able to see that now. Lobby day topics. Okay, so these are the ones that we brought over before. These are some of the topics we're interested in. And at the next SAC meeting, we'll actually be deciding which of the topics we're interested in. And there are a few more that I want to bring to the attention. And that is AB 302, that's a specific bill, which is parking for homeless students. And I got a copy of the, so AB 302, parking for homeless students, that would require community colleges with parking on campus to allow overnight access to these parking lots. For any homeless students enrolled at the school, students would be able to park in the lots and sleep with their vehicles overnight. And this bill was introduced by Assembly Member Mark Berman from Palo Alto, but it was put on hold and expected to be brought back next year. So we'll see how that goes. But so that's AB 302. So you can always look this up for more information if you go to, I think it's legeinfo.org. But this is another one I'm planning on adding to this list here. Also SB 728, which is Housing and Hunger Hardship Fund, and that would establish a student housing and food hardship fund, which would set aside emergency financial assistance for housing and food costs. Students experiencing housing or food insecurity will be eligible to apply for funds. And that was also, that was stalled in the Senate Appropriations Committee. So it has now become a 2-year bill. And that one was introduced by Kathleen Galigiani from Stockton. And the last one that I'm planning on adding to this is the mental health program. And that was actually introduced by Assemblymember Kevin McCarthy right here from Sacramento. And that's AB 1689, which would establish the College Mental Health Services Program. The bill would allocate $40 million annually from Prop 63 to implement the program. Of that $40 million, $10 million each would go to the 10 campus University of California's and the 23 campuses of the California State University systems, and $20 million to the 115 California community colleges systems, and grants up to $500,000 would be administered to individual campuses to provide mental health services. So these are ones I'm planning on adding to the list that I showed you. So I wanted to know, is there a topic that you saw either on the list or of the ones that I mentioned that you guys are most interested in? I know there's a lot of information, by the way, to dissect, so I'm sorry about that. It's kind of all last minute right now.
Chair?
Jacob, go ahead.
I saw Board of Governors enfranchisement on the list. Was that not passed this last year? I thought that was passed.
I'm not sure.
Okay, and then just some other comments. 302 was vehemently opposed by many districts and faculty groups and community members because they saw a lot of homeless students as a threat to young children. It's kind of a unfortunate view of our struggling students, but just wanted that to be aware of. And then also the one about the student fund and the mental health fund, those would also be kind of hard to push right now because they require funding, and almost all bills with funding last year were cut due to budget shortfalls. And then Brett mentioned 291. SB 291 was cut for similar reasons. There was budget shortfalls and it just wasn't something that they saw as feasible. So the CSAC Cal Grant work group is looking to reconvene and come out with a new Cal Grant reform model that would encompass the no new funding environment. And so there should be a bill out on that this next year, but I'm unsure of when it would come out.
So you said Cal Grant reform.
Yeah, so SB 291 and 1314 focused around financial aid reform, more specifically Cal Grant reform. So those were all cut because they were set to increase funding. So really the new push this year is to look at ways to just make the Cal Grant more equitable as is, and that mostly centers around looking to change it to consolidate the Cal Grants, and then also change it to be based off of expected family contribution as opposed to just what is on your FAFSA. And the difference is what's on your FAFSA says, oh, my parents make, XYZ amount, whereas expected family contribution takes into account that some students never get a single dollar from any of their parents, regardless of their income. So that's just kind of the way that they were going right now.
Thanks, Jake.
Naomi, can I add some context real quick? And thank you, both Naomi and Jacob, for the updates there. So for you new folks, your head might be spinning right now. What this is, a lobby day. So this board will give its recommendations to Naomi, who will take it to the Student Advisory Council in November to determine which bills as a district student leaders want to lobby for, right? So it has to be relevant to community college students. So you heard Jacob there talking about some of the bills that are going on, like the one about the homeless students in the parking lot. I can tell you right now, the district has to support the bill as well. And the district, not that they don't want to advocate for homeless students, but the district does not want the liability of having students on campus at 4 a.m, right? So that's where the tough part comes in. But what you all are discussing are bills that you want to bring to Lobby Day. And that's when, I don't know what Lobby Day is going to look like in February or March or whenever we do it this year. I don't know if we're allowed to go on the Capitol or not. Those are logistics we still need to figure out. But you actually get all dressed up and you go to the Capitol and you talk to legislators about why this bill is important, whatever you all decide, right? So last year was SB 291. And the folks in Senate and CABE went to the Capitol and said, this is why this bill should be passed. So I just wanted to give you all some context, especially the newer board members, of what exactly was being discussed here. So sorry, it's the teacher in me.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
I will be quiet now and let you all discuss.
No, that's really helpful. I know it was pretty fast. Sorry, guys. Austin, I see your hand raised. Go ahead.
So I just had a basic question regarding what also Mark said. So with SB 302, given that it's been put on ice, I think you mentioned, by this student who drew this bill, then that means that we're not going forward with it. And again, going back to what Mark said, so we're just going to select one thing and then all of us will put our support behind it, or is like 302 something that we could also like try to work on the side with the district to try to maybe persuade them to see things the other way?
So 302, right? It's a government, it's a assembly bill from the California government. Right, what you said was, yes, the author of the bill has currently put it off the table and is expected to put it back on the table, bring it back on the docket in about a year. So we'll see what happens with that. What Brett was saying is, in order to lobby for a bill, we need to get approval from the Board of Trustees. So like if we had a bill that they disagree with that we want to support, we can't do it. We can't lobby on a bill that they're gonna say, no, we don't support this. That it just wouldn't work. So we do need, for any bill that we want to lobby on, we need to get the Board of Trustees approval on that.
Gotcha, thank you, it makes sense now. Thank you very much.
I know that this is a really, I can't really say anything more, but it's a bill. It's a hard topic.
Chair.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
So this is not related to any specific bill. Just in response to what Brett said about not knowing how Lobby Day is going to work. So as of right now, what they're doing is they created this thing called a legislative portal. and it's basically an online thing where you submit your comments, concerns, support, whatever for a bill, and it gets sent to the legislators or the committee or whoever. So unless something changes with the whole pandemic situation, I envision it would most likely just be something that's done through the Ledge portal, which is why I think Get Involved, Get Relief is coming at a great time, because we can get all those put into the Ledge portal and write to them, because I don't think we'll be allowed into the Capitol unless something changes here soon.
For folks who haven't heard this term, so the Get Involved, Get Relief is something that our Basic Needs Committee is working on, chaired by Jacob, which is an event where students can they can send an email like template, and then by being involved in that lobbying, they are entered into the opportunity to get some financial aid from us. Anything else to add on this topic?
Chair.
Oscar, go ahead.
So what about if we currently have like homeless students because they were affected by the COVID-19, and I was just wondering, is there anything that we can do to move forward, to talk to the trustees, to the board, and maybe just bring this subject to their minds? Because I know you said it's going to be a year until they put it back, that proposition, but that seems like too long, and I'm not sure if there are people that are really looking forward to those opportunities. So I was just saying, is there any way that this group can start talking about this subject? Not as say we support it, just as we've heard concerns about many students. They need this, and because of the COVID. So I was just wondering if there's anything we can do to bring that subject to them.
So what Brett said about the liability, that's a big concern for the Board of Trustees. So it's unlikely they would support this idea, but they do meet every month, and they do allow for public comment. At the last Board of Trustees meeting, there was a huge group of faculty and staff from the different colleges, a lot from ARC. They came and discussed the paid family leave options, and were discussing how terrible it is, really, and how much they were looking for reform from the Board of Trustees. So there is an option if you're trying to voice your concern about this, if you want to bring this to the attention of the Board of Trustees, then that is an option to do. You can also talk to me and then ask for it to be brought to Tony, who can ask for it to be put on the agenda. That's an uncertainty there that it would be put on, just because
Sure.
Okay, Jacob, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, if you go for that, they have a lot of concerns about it. So 1 would be the liability, 2 is the community liability, and 3 is the funding, because the bill required, that would require 1, keeping more security on campus, for not only the students' safety, but for the building and the community safety. They would also need to put places for them to use the bathroom in, and I believe maybe lights. It was something like that. There's a couple of, financial implications, and the district as well as the state are already very stressed. So there's only one of 2 ways it's going to get funded. It can get funded by the state, or it can be an unfunded mandate where the district has to do it. And both are going to be opposed to it because of the budget limitations this year. So there's a lot of nuanced issues that have to get worked out on the bill. And so if you're going to lobby that issue, I suggest you go on to Ledge Info, look up SB 291 and go through all the info. You can see comments, concerns, etc. And if you need any help with that, I can help you and get you the information you need.
Yeah, please, if you can send that through the chat, that would be great.
You can always search for it also by going to Ledge Info. It's our portal to find any any California legislation. So that's always a great website when researching this.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob.
Sasha, are you planning? I saw you unmute yourself, so go ahead.
Do you think the district would support the mental health bill that you were speaking of? Is that something you think they can get on board with or be persuaded to? Because I think, especially in these times, we could really make a huge fight for it and be like, there's a lot of students going through unknown times, fund, mental health for all of us. I think especially in burnout and stress and everything, it's a little bit, I feel like that we can really get them be really support. But what do you think?
I think I know what Jacob's gonna say, but it's unlikely that they will go for it because of the funding option. Jacob, go ahead.
So there's also, yes, funding again. Two, there is a lot of resources that they have begun to implement on campus. There are some counselors that you can talk to. I know Brett last meeting sent a list of resources, and I believe Los Rios is doing this. They might not, don't hold me to this, but I believe we've contracted a telehealth provider to provide this option to students so that we have an adequate number of mental health counselors now. So they might, bring up some statistics on its use and arguments about that. Personally, I think our best shot is to go for Cal Grant reform with a no new funding model, which CSAC will be putting out soon. But that is my personal opinion, and others might have something that you all think is more important. And I think we should get that diversity of ideas and bring that forward and have the district choose.
For yes, the telehealth, we had Pamela Whipple who came and talked to us about it, the Timely MD. I think it was last week. Another issue I wanted to bring up, it wasn't on one of the bills that I mentioned, but student trustee and enfranchisement. So our student trustee doesn't have a vote, or it has a what is it called, honorary vote or something?
Advisory vote.
Advisory vote, right? It's not it's what it sounds like, advisory vote. And they are barred from certain meetings, after the last Board of Trustees, there was a continuing, they had a closed door meeting after that where student trustee was not allowed in. So there are a lot of restrictions as to what our student trustees' role is on the Board of Trustees. So this is another issue that we might be interested in lobbying on, is changing how the student trustees' role is looked at on the Board of Trustees.
Chair.
Jacob, go ahead.
Another thing is, so as you can tell, a lot of our actions are restricted by the Board of Trustees because ultimately they have all the power over us. So there is a way around this, luckily. So what you can do is you get involved with the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. They have none of those restrictions because they are a nonprofit organization and they have been officially recognized by the California State Legislature. So they can lobby on whatever they want. They can say, well, not whatever, but they can say they have a lot more power than us. So last year, we lobbied heavily on student trustee enfranchisement, Board of Governors member enfranchisement, 291. We did all of this stuff that we're talking about. They were in the legislature, they were talking to people, they were on it, they held many, many lobby days. So if you really want to get involved and do this, despite what the Board of Trustees says, I recommend that you get involved with Region 2, our region of the SSCCC. you can contact Jasmine Prasad. She is also the Legislative Affairs Director for FLC, and she would love to have more members on our Legislative Affairs Committee, and you can work on these issues there.
Afsoon actually is our Region 2 representative, and she currently sits on the Legislative Affairs Committee for Region 2. Yeah.
Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, awesome. So 2 questions. Let me go back one step, and this is just, let me rephrase it. Let's think about it locally, and this was for the homeless students. What if you have 2 local governmental agencies, and by this one, I mean the Office of Emergency Management here in Sacramento, willing to help provide, let's say, not necessarily security, but okay, let me go back in one step. Having spoken with the lady who runs the Office of, Emergency Management in Sacramento and his boss, there's just 3 of them right now due to budget cuts. The city and the way the government works, they are more than willing to give tax break to colleges if colleges during the pandemic time are willing to loan or sub-loan a portion of their ground, like let's say their stadium or their parking lot, to the city to provide housing for the homeless. In this case, you can argue we just want the homeless students from our city to be housed on our campus. There is that option available. I don't know if it's regional or if it can be implemented statewide, but there is a committee, there is an organization within Sacramento who could sort of connect us with individuals who could give the school a tax break for giving their land to us and using it to help homeless students. Would that be something that you think, bring to the Legislative Affairs Committee at Region 2, or again, try to even bring it to school or connect you guys with that? Or is this something that we don't want to go through as a school or as a city? Or I guess basically what I'm trying to say is there is that resource available, but I don't know how we could fit it in if assuming we want to use it and fit it in. Does that make sense? In a way.
I don't really have an answer for that, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just that again, that's the source of resource that's there, and I guess maybe Brett would know more, but like that's there for us to use. But I know it's a little bit more complicated. Is this something that we could maybe tap into, like help the homeless students and use our school ground and get the school some tax breaks, or just let everything be?
Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, I love the creativity and the innovation there. I could just tell you, I've been in some meetings in the past. It's ultimately the district's call because it's district property.
Gotcha.
And I just can't see, pandemic, maybe it changed the board's mind a little bit, but I just can't see them doing it for a tax break. Even if there wasn't a tax break involved, I just can't see them changing their mind on that. And again, it's why we're all sitting at home right now, right? It's the liability. They don't want folks getting, viruses spread to them, because then someone might say, I'm going to sue the district and all that stuff. So they're just very, and I'll say the word conservative in terms of the liability issue. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. But great idea.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Second, what Brett said, that the creativity is awesome, really, and enthusiasm.
No, thank you so much for that. But the credit actually goes to the lady who was talking to us students, and she's like, we need the land. If you can find the land, we are willing to give you the resources, like tents, whatever you need, security and things like that. And it's sort of heartbreaking that, you see you have and I understand where the district is coming from. I totally get that from the legal point of view. We're going to open up a new can of worms, but at the same time, you're like, oh my gosh, we have a group of students who need help. We have the material. We're just not willing to, say no to the fear and jump. But again, thank you so much for listening, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It can be frustrating when Yeah, I know what you mean. So does anybody else have anything to add on this topic for Lobby Day topics? We actually, we haven't really chose. Oh my God, grammar. we haven't really looked at what we want to specifically focus on. Like, I know the way we did it last year was we came up with a few bills, topics that we were interested on lobbying on, and then we chose one that we specifically were interested in, and then took that to the, actually we took a list, but we had one that we were mostly interested in. And we took that to the Student Advisory Committee, where they decided specifically on which one we would lobby on. So, like thinking through how to go through with it, this.
Sure.
Jacob, go ahead.
So this is kind of difficult because last year there were actually like a list of bills that we knew were going to be implemented in the cycle. This year there is no list, there's no bills. All we have is promises from certain people that they're going to reintroduce some bills. So personally, I think the best way to move forward is to really push what CSAC is going to be working on, and saying Cal Grant reform is a great way to move forward because it affects, our struggling students. It alleviates some of that mental hardship they're facing because of financial needs. It helps the the housing insecure students. It helps a plethora of students who are struggling. I feel like that's the most wide-ranging impact, the most for sure thing we have. So that's and it's the most likely to go through, in my personal opinion. So I think that is the option. But again, don't let me sway you just because I'm all involved in legislation. If you have an idea, push your idea.
Right, seconded what Jacob says. We don't need to, without any bills really being on the docket, we don't have these bills to legislate on. So legislating on topics is also totally fine. Like with the student trustee enfranchisement, which I keep bringing up, but yeah. Okay, I think we've kind of teetered out on the conversation here. So if anybody doesn't have anything more to add, then we're going to move on to the student impression panels. Okay, hearing no other discussion on that, we're moving on to student impression panels. Okay, we need a motion to discuss.
I make a motion to discuss student impression panels.
I second.
I would second that.
Okay, we've got multiple seconds. Perfect. It's been moved and seconded to discuss the student impression panels. Okay. Sasha, since you're the maker of the motion, you get to discuss first. You don't have to. You can decline.
I decline.
You know what, Brett? I'm going to try to share. I'm going to try to share screen again and see if I can get that that list that Brett sent earlier. I hope you guys all saw that.
I just put it in the chat again too.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Now let's see if I have it. Do I have it? Oh boy.
Do you mind if I kind of go over the process here real quick?
Oh no, you know what? That is perfect. Go ahead.
So I shared this last week, and I think in my advisor's message, but October 30th, so next Friday, whoever anywhere from 3 to 5 candidates are going to be for the next ARC president, they meet with student impression panels. So you all, classified staff, and then faculty, and then the actual hiring committee. So they have like 4 different meetings they'll go to. So in the past, like this would be in like the boardroom or the club room, and the candidates would actually get escorted in. You all would be sitting at a table and you would be able to ask these questions. And then, like I said, you don't rank them like, oh, candidate A was 1, candidate B was 2. You're just going to give your impressions of them. Like, oh, I really liked what they said here, or, oh no, like that person answered that question like And it happens. But I kind of asked Naomi to put this on the agenda because I wanted you all to have a chance, even if you can't make it next Friday, to participate in what type of questions you want to ask those candidates. So let's just say there's 3 candidates. I don't know who they are. I don't know how many there are yet, but hypothetically 3 candidates, they all get asked the same questions, right? So it's equitable. And then you would give your impressions back. I'll be moderating it, but you would give your impressions back to me and I turn that into HR. So the other thing is it's super confidential, right? So you can't be like, oh, Dr. So-and-so answered this question, like secretly recording it and put it on, and that's not what you're trying to do. It's more just, you're trying to learn about the people trying to be the next president of your college. So there's 2 ways this could kind of work here. I know we're running low on time, but I put from like 3 years ago as Sac City's questions, because that was what I was able to get. You could look at those. We could do it as a board today, or you could kind of go back and forth emailing wise. It doesn't need to be like confirmed by Senate or anything like that. It's more just, this is the opportunity to have the input on those questions. So I hope that makes sense. But HR asked that the questions be submitted by the 28th, which is Wednesday.
5 days.
Yeah. That everything's a super tight turnaround. So, this is an opportunity to discuss those or things that you might not see on that list that you want to add. And then I just have to submit it for HR approval. So it has to be anywhere from 7 to 10 questions, I think, because I think each candidate has 40 minutes. And that's the last thing I'll say. If you decide that you want to participate in this next Friday, my only ask is that you participate in all of them. Like, you can't watch candidate 1 and then be like, all right, I got to go, right? If you can't make it, you can't make it. That's fine. But that would be my only ask, that you volunteer for the entire process and not just one candidate. So with that, I'll be quiet. Back to you, Naomi. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. No, it is very helpful. So I'm going to share screen and do that, show that those questions that were that Brett shared earlier. I think I'm going to do it. Okay.
Chair,
Go ahead.
I have a question. So are we specifically going to be asking questions directly, or we're going to submit the question? Okay, I see. All right.
Oh, I didn't see the answer. I'm sorry. Brett, can you, was it
just
put in
nodded.
the chat?
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and sorry, one last thing. To answer Mary Kay's question, I pleaded with HR, please make it after 12 o'clock since you all meet from 10:30 to 12. I do not have a confirmed time yet, but yeah. So then these questions, like, let's just say you went with these 9. You have to ask those to every candidate. You can't leave one off or say, oh, we're going to skip this one because we're out of time. You got to go through all of them so that each candidate can address every question that every other candidate had.
Okay, so I'm just going to read these out so you guys can look at this. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What qualifies you for this position beyond your academic achievements? Tell us about your experience working with students at a low socioeconomic status, including homeless and hungry students. What ideas do you have for serving this population? What is your stance on allowing projects like a food pantry, a garden, or other sustainable projects? And what ideas do you have on how we can make SCC more environmentally friendly? What will you do to expand mental health services for students on the campus? What will you do to ensure that all services are available to students with learning disabilities? Provide an example that demonstrates your efforts in this area. How will you use your leadership style to engage partnerships between our multicultural campus and surrounding community? What has been your direct involvement with students inside and outside the classroom? Provide examples. Our college has enrollment and transfer rates lower than desired. What steps would you take to increase both enrollment and transfer? What are some goals you'd like to reach in the position of president at SCC? What are some leaders or mentors who have inspired you and why? And is there anything you have not mentioned that you'd like to share with us regarding your skills and attributes to be president?
Chair.
Yep.
So I have one that I think would be kind of important. So there's a number of bills that have been passed that kind of push for new requirements for colleges. I know one was saying, homelessness is
Jacob, you're kind of breaking up.
Sorry, hold on. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a number of bills that have been passed that kind of changed requirements for California community colleges. One was like homelessness being an extenuating circumstance that justifies poor academic performance for financial aid purposes. I know I was in a meeting with some financial aid administrators and they had very bad views of that. And we're talking about how it was kind of dumb. So I think that might be important to bring up. There was also a bill passed that pushed for colleges to have zero textbook cost symbols so that there would be lower costs, not only for the courses, but that students know which courses have lower costs. And there's a couple of other bills. So I was just thinking we maybe ask a question about certain bills that have changed requirements and what they would do to meet said requirements. And I could come up with like a list of bills and like wording about that question that fits it better and isn't as ambiguous as I'm explaining it right now.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad question. I mean, the specific example that you brought up with the textbook affordability one, I think that's already been implemented, right? So for that one,
it's being implemented, but there are some struggles. There is not a wide consensus, and the OER committee is struggling to get full faculty participation in OER. I don't know what the word is, but there's some struggle to get everyone on board with OERs and get the zero textbook cost stuff going. So I feel like it'd be good to ask what they would do in that field as well as the other fields, because there's definitely some lag time between the passage of those bills and the full implementation of the requirements. So I'm basically just asking what they would do to get our college up to standard with all the new legislation that's been passed.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a good question. My only concern with that one is that like we're trying to ask questions, right? I'm assuming there are going to be other students there that are able to see this than just us, right? So I don't know.
It's open to any student, but they have to understand that the questions that you all create are the questions being asked. So
right.
Yeah.
So my question is, for these other students that may be joining, who may be viewing, is this a question that they're more concerned with? Is this a question that they want to see answered by all of these candidates?
Can I respond?
Yeah.
So I would say it's almost definitely not at the top of their mind because, almost no one's really following legislation like this. But I think it's very important to keep up with this legislation to ensure that when we go and we lobby and we push for a bill and it gets passed, that it's not just brushed over for, 3, 4, 5 years. Not that they do that now. I'm just saying to ensure that they meet these legislative requirements and do everything they can to follow the law and do what's best for the students.
Okay, thank you. You know what I want to do actually after this is I want to share a Google Doc with all of you that we can actually have this, that we can actually show the questions, because that gives you guys the opportunity to kind of format them, not on the spot, right? So I'm going to do that after this meeting. And I'll share it with your student government email, so you should be able to see that there. Okay. Right.
Real quick. So I have to submit these by Wednesday, the 20, whatever day that is, 28th. So, if you make that, just know that probably by Tuesday afternoon, I'll have to start formulating like, okay, this is what we want to do. We can work out logistics later. I just want people to know of the tight deadline. So that's all.
Right. Thank you, Brett. For me, I think one of the questions we should ask also should be related to the what steps they'll take to make this what steps they'll take to make the campus more green. And obviously that's right now, with everything being remote, it's kind of like it's not like like, at the front of everybody's minds necessarily, but just for when things get back, right? And again, like I think Google Doc that we can word this better also makes sense, but
Chair,
go ahead.
I have two questions. So first, this is kind of complicated, but as you know, we have on our campus, we have, I'm not sure what's it called exactly, but it's sort of like campus equity plan. So it's essentially a multiple years, long-term plan for like a strategy. And so the question is, will this plan be carried on by the new president, or will we have some different strategy, or how's it going to look like? So that's the first question. And second question, so what's up with Aramark? I'm really curious what's the status here, and what's the situation, how is it going to be resolved, if it's going to be resolved?
Right. So
Sure.
Jacob?
So with Airmark, I mean, I stopped following it recently. However, the contract was up last year. So either they approved the contract and we got stuck with Airmark again, or they went with someone else, which I highly doubt that they did, especially during the pandemic with how hard things were. So I'm almost positive we are stuck with Airmark for the next couple of years, and there's nothing we can do about it, because if the contract is approved, we can't just void that contract. Otherwise, that puts the district in the spot where they could get sued and have to pay all that money and still find a new contractor. So we are most likely stuck with Airmark, and there is nothing we can do about it.
Chair, may I say something?
Go ahead.
So I did find out about Airmark, that there was another company. I forgot the name of the company, but I'll find out. But there was another company that did put a bid in. So I'm hoping we're not stuck with Airmark. But I was on that committee, so I'll find out. I'll go look through my emails, and then I'll find out the last discussion that we had, and then I can share it with you.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So has the contract been approved, or did they suspend contract negotiations because of the whole pandemic thing, or do you know anything about that situation at all?
Brett, you were nodding your head with that. It has been approved?
No, it hasn't been approved. They suspended it. Last I heard. So that was middle September. Basically, when they were figuring out that spring was going to be remote, I think they just suspended negotiations because Aramark doesn't want to bid, or any other company doesn't want to bid if they know they're not going to be on campus this year. So I will find out. I'll reach out to some folks, but the last I heard was that everything's just kind of still up in the air. There's been no contract signed.
Okay, then I think that's a really good question then, asking about Airmark. Because yeah. So the link you sent is actually different from what I have. I have something called the Institutional Equity Plan. Is that different from the Campus Equity Plan? Do you know?
Yeah, I sent the Student Equity Plan, which was, let's see, gosh, it's been 2 years now, that Senate appointed 2 students to serve on that committee to help write that plan. So that's the one I'm familiar with. I'm not sure which one you're discussing. Sorry.
Hang on. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to try sharing screen again. I'm curious because I've read this one, but I'm not sure what it is. So I'm trying to get consensus on this. Sorry.
Sure, make
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
Institutional equity plan. This is the one we're talking about?
No.
No.
That was campus equity plan, I'm pretty sure. Because there were a lot of like play cards, a lot of posts on campus with the equity plan, and it looked really old, so I memorized it. So yeah.
Okay.
Naomi,
yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead, Brett.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
That's the one you just showed. That's the one I know of because I recognize all the names, the chairs.
Yeah.
And students. That's sorry, my bad. That's the one that Student Senate appointed 2 students to serve on. So maybe I, in haste, sent the wrong link, or I will. Oh, I did the strategic. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I mean, for the question, guess we should figure out what we want to ask them. Are they continuing following this or following the other one? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I sent the website that has some of the synopsis. The one you just have is the actual plan. So
okay.
We're both on the right page, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the help clarifying that. So is there any and I don't want to try to pressure you guys to actually think of like how the specific formatting has to happen right now, but are there any topics that you want to bring up? Any topics of question? That's a phrase, but that you want to have answered. Yeah, go ahead, Stacy.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're still talking about contributing questions to the list, correct?
Yeah, sorry,
okay.
yes.
So confirming that, Research Club did meet about this topic this week, and we're still kind of phrasing the specifics of the question, but we would like to submit something asking candidates about their intention for the new STEM Center. Obviously, that's been a huge feature of the campus. We've had campus torn up for a couple years about it. So just hearing what their plan would be helpful, especially if they have any intentions to expand undergraduate research or current STEM projects at all.
Awesome. So yeah, once you guys have the specific wording, we can include that on the full Google Doc that will be created after this.
Do I get that question to Brett or to you, President Naomi?
I think you could send it to either one. Either of us will put it on there. So.
Thank you.
I'll share the document with you so you guys can all edit it too. So. Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
One more question. So we on campus, we have a lot of different but same organizations like Achieve, like Student Hub, that their responsibilities overlap a lot, and like student government and all of that stuff. So pretty much all of those organizations do almost the same thing, a little bit differently. And instead of having one centralized organization that helps students, we have a lot of different ones, and I don't think it's helpful. It's like we target the same audience, but then all of us are worse off eventually because we're not. It's like if we had 10 student senates, and those 10 student senates would target different students, and then why would you do that instead of having one organized organization, one centralized organization? So the question is, are we going to have the same structure of those organizations? Like we have Achieve program, we have a couple of different programs separate, or maybe those organizations will be united under maybe one umbrella or one organization.
Okay, so some of the programs I know, Achieve, EOPS, and DSPS, I mean, they all focus on different student areas there. So they can offer different expertise for who's looking, for what that specific student requires. So, I mean, I can see what you're saying about the centralized, the efficiency of having a centralized system, but I think breaking down into different, kind of like how we break down things into different task force, it makes things more manageable that way. So, I mean, that's my take on it.
Can I respond?
Hmm?
My bad is that I can't remember the name of the organization, but there's something like Achieve, and its purpose is almost the same, and they do the same job, but Achieve is like more popular one. And so I was wondering if it's necessary to have two different organizations that take a lot of resources instead of having Achieve like a united organization that helps united team that helps students all over the campus instead of having two. Again, the thing is I can't remember exactly what the name is, what the name of the second organization is, but yeah, we have two, and they do the same job, and they are both established by organization. So why do we have that?
I mean, I know Achieve focuses on new incoming students, and I don't know what other since you don't know what you can't remember the name right now, but Brett is thinking you're talking about home bases. Do you know?
Sure.
Not sure. Okay.
Honestly, not sure. I'm sincere. I forgot. I just forgot because nobody cares about that organization. Let's be honest. And I know Achieve because Achieve they're marketing much more. They send emails. They are on campus all the time. Were all the time. And so I know about that one. And the second one I forgot because I know it exists, but I just forgot what it is. And so again, the question is, will we have like one centralized thing per task essentially, instead of having.
So for the question that you want to ask, do you kind of want you're thinking along the lines is whether the president plans on centralizing the services more?
Yeah, thank you.
No, I think it's a good question, even if I'm coming from a different area. Plan on. I'm writing it down right now. Anyone else on just different areas?
Yeah, Chair, may I?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just was looking at it and I didn't really notice any question. So I guess mine would be kind of focusing more on undocumented student population specifically and international students. In what ways? Because I know at times it's hard to get funding to support those programs and to provide services that those students might need that they don't qualify for, like if you're part of federally funded programs. So how would they be able to support those programs and increase the amount of services that are provided for students within that population?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Okay, so I think right now what we have is implementing state bills. We have the sustainability. We have Airmark, we have the institutional equity plan, we have STEM center, we have centralized services, and then we have the international and how did you put it? I'm sorry. I think I didn't get the full notes for that. We have
undocumented
students. Thank you. International and undocumented students.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I have one more. You know what? I forgot the question. I'll say it when I remember.
Your sound got all weird again. Did you you said you don't have a question? Okay, I see your chat. Okay.
Hey, Naomi, not to rush greatness here, but we have 2 minutes left.
Actually, the meeting says 12:30.
Oh, wow, I can read. Okay, thank you.
That's okay. No, I know we had that previous system where we're always meeting at 12, so it does make it a little difficult. Yeah. Okay. Though I do want to give enough time for you guys to give committee reports and board member reports. So, are there any other ideas for questions? Keeping in mind that you will have the option to write these better on a shared document.
Can you hear me okay?
I don't know who's speaking.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, so the question is, so a little bit of context. We had, I'm not sure when exactly, like a year ago, but we have a lot of different fields of study, like nine key fields of study. And then I was in the Student Success Council, which is the shared governance committee. And I know that the committee was working on reducing the number of those studies. So I'm not sure how many exactly are there now. I think if you go to ARC's main website, you can see like there's subsection fields of study or something like that. And there are like 7 or 5. And I'm pretty sure they wanted to reduce it to like one. Again, the idea of centralized things, I like it a lot, but they wanted to have one like one center for helping students defining themselves, figuring out what they want to study, and then they will have like 5 different fields, and those different five fields they will like subdivide even more. So is this idea still in place, or how's that going to look like? How the college will help students figuring out what majors people want to have?
I think that's the goal of home bases, no?
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the goals, not their only goal.
Yeah. Okay, any other ideas or questions that you want to bring up? Keep it, yeah, you guys don't need to be like, I know I've been saying mostly questions, but if you have a kind of semi-unformed question kind of bouncing around, now's the time to let it bring it up. Okay, let's see what's going on in the questions. Okay, Afsoon, you want to talk about collaboration with internship programs?
Yes. And sorry, I was sort of like going in the chat room with Stacy, but one thing that I've noticed is, and not in the meeting last time, which I wasn't in, but in the previous one before that, I think you guys noticed that there's a pattern with me that every single time something comes up, I'm like, well, can you create some internship for students so they can get some experience? And what I've noticed is on campus, I understand there's an internship and work experience group on campus. They don't necessarily do the best job compared to some other campuses in California. And also when you ask for something to be done on campus, you usually need to fall within the work study category, federal work study. So you have this group of small individual students, not necessarily small, but students who are willing to work for free and are looking for maybe work in the tutoring section or in other departments, but they are not getting it because even if there is something, it's being given to work studies, federal work study students, which it should. But again, I sort of feel like there are internship opportunities available on campus. Maybe some professors don't know it, but that was one of my questions, that if we can sort of like improve it, make it better, create better relationship with businesses around us, especially ARC, then maybe we could, provide better opportunities for students and reduce their stress. But that's what Stacy and I were sort of going back and forth in the chat room with each other. Also, I appreciate you, Stacy, a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Asa. Okay, I mean, if we don't have any discussion, we can totally move on. That's fine. it's on the spot. So, okay. With that, we are going to move on to committee reports. As far as I know, we didn't have any Senate committees that met, but if there were committees outside of the Student Senate that met,
Chair.
Sasha, go ahead.
So I had the academic calendar committee meeting.
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest, it was a little bit of a mess. Like,
Oh no.
it was like 45 minutes of first some people were confused on if we were gonna have a spring break, and then they were like, oh yeah, no, we are having a spring break. Then that became a thing, and then it was like we're trying to have a discussion of, are we gonna split it between 8 weeks, or we're gonna do it for Easter holiday? And that was like a whole conversation. And then we ended up talking about emails because people aren't on emails. And then we decided we're voting on it in 2 weeks, not on the So yeah, but I kind of came up with my idea. I want to see if other people agree with this and like would want me to vote this way. But I think we should split it between the 8 weeks, because there's been like the times where it's like 12 weeks in the semester we have the spring break, and I just feel like a lot of us have burnout, like extreme burnout, and especially that period of like February, March, where there's like, or even March, where it's like nothing, it's really hard. So I think that 8 week would be best, because they also pointed out that because of the Easter holiday, we have Good Friday off. And I know there's probably student workers or even us, like we still meet on Fridays. I think they'd still have a free day off. So I think it adds a day off to us and has 8 weeks in the middle. So it's like perfect like timing. So that's what I'm gonna vote for. I'm gonna say 8 weeks, but let me know if that's, it seems like in the comments, people want 8 weeks. So
yeah, I'm noticing that too. So I think we got our answer. I support it too, but the only thing I want to bring up is midterms. They'd be around that time. So I think for me at least, I always prefer the midterms to be before the break so that we don't have to study during the break. So,
yeah.
So that just as if there's some way to make sure that professors know that. So,
Okay.
Yep, that's my only thing. But yeah, no, it's awesome that you're bringing that back, asking how we would like you to vote. So I think that's great.
Chair.
Go ahead.
We actually had a PR committee meeting last Thursday. It wasn't a meeting per se because I posted the agenda just a couple of hours after the requirement for the Brown Act. So the committee could not vote on anything. So, I mean, not vote, but take action, which includes voting. But we were able to discuss stuff anyway. So one of the things I brought up, which is a project that I really like, I think it's important to do that, is creating our own student government course. Because I know that there was some discussion last year about making a class for student government. I have absolutely no idea what's the status of that idea, and if they didn't proceed with that because the COVID and all that stuff. But like, who cares? We can do our own course, which is going to be the most practical course ever, because we're going to create it and we're in student senate, so we know what people need to know, what people need not to know, what people need to do, what they don't need to do, and etc., etc. And also we can do make material specific for positions, so that president will have one set of like document, like it's going to be like a knowledge database. And so different positions will have different information regarding their positions and different responsibilities. There also will be, first of all, it's a Canvas course. So you will be able to come back to that information anytime. And it's also a possibility for us to make like a universal training, so that when people join, we don't have to teach them one-on-one, or we don't have to provide a separate training for them. we can just point out, hey, so there's a presentation or there's a document for Brown Act or for parliamentary procedure, et cetera, et cetera. And you can just go online and just study it. And also we can do some sort of like, not examination, not testing per se, but just for that person to see what the gaps in knowledge are. Because I know for sure that last year, in fact, we had people who, like, in December they didn't know what to do, and how to make motions, how to make bills, and all that stuff. What the Brown Act is. And so I really think that it would be really cool for us, for all of us, to be on the same page with regards to like information that circulates in Institute Senate with regards to like all of the procedures, maybe training on the Constitution, on the Brown Act, parliamentary procedure, what have you. And so I really think that would be cool. And I didn't post the agenda this week, but I will for the next week. So I have a little bit technical question. I know I'm taking a lot of time, but it's a quick question. So, I'll be honest. I was a sole person at that meeting, and almost. And so, do I have to have more people to? So I have to meet a quorum, right, in order to like
Yeah.
vote on the thing? But the thing is, it's my personal project. Like, why do I have to create a separate committee for that? Why do I have to meet with people if like I'm chairing the committee, and basically I'm the only one like officially in that committee besides Reed maybe.
No, I'm in the committee. Hey.
All right, and you.
I think
Sorry.
I'm in the committee too.
Are you? I mean,
Sasha's, yeah,
all
Sasha,
right,
you're in the
unofficially,
committee, right?
unofficially. All right, guys, unofficially. Officially, me and Reed are the only people I can remember of appointing. No,
Mark.
but why not? But when we no. Wait a second. No, I'm gonna stand on this. When we created a committee, I mean when we created the committee, I made the motion to assign myself as chair and Reed as a member, and then
Yeah, Mark and myself were appointed later.
Well, I didn't know about
And
that.
I don't
Well,
remember.
all right, welcome
Sasha,
to
you
the
were
committee,
appointed
guys.
later too, right? Yeah, Sasha was appointed later too.
Well, welcome then. All right.
We love you, Nick.
So,
We
yeah,
love
this is
you.
my report.
Okay. Yeah. So looking forward to the next PR committee meeting.
Chair, I can give you an update.
Go ahead, Mark.
So I have an
Is this
update
a
on the
committee report?
Yeah, the institutional effectiveness. Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
had a meeting with the Institutional Effectiveness Council. We now have an ARC equitable decision making tool 2.0. So they updated that. I can share that as soon as the meeting's done. I'll send an email out to everybody so they can see that. I did get permission to do that. So that's awesome. We also discussed about the campus climate survey that was done. 1,294 students from ARC and the Thomas Center were involved with 269 employees. What the employees include faculty, permanent classified staff, supervisors, and admin. The results were pretty amazing. Some of the questions were asked are, do students feel safe on campus? The majority of them voted or elected yes, they feel safe while they're on campus. So you guys will have to just look at the report and kind of go over that. We also briefly discussed about the interfaith calendar, which will, Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, the interfaith calendar is going to make it so that way there's no meetings done on any type of religious holidays, or there's going to be no classes on any type of religious holidays and such. More of like a blackout dates. So certain days with different religions that they can't host any meetings, they can't host any type of classes or anything like that. So that'll be going into effect. If Brett has more on that, that would be awesome. But that's pretty much that was my first institutional effectiveness council meeting. So it was very detailed and they can talk pretty quick. So I try to catch as much notes as I can. But I'll have some more updates when we have our next meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And I think we still have a position available for the Institutional Effectiveness Committee. So if anybody's interested in being appointed to that committee, it is a paid shared governance committee. So you get a small stipend for going to those meetings. We still have that one position available on that, as far as I know.
Sure.
Mhm.
So two committees, they're not really related to, well, I have three things to report on. So the first one is the Financial Aid Regional Representatives meeting. I attended that last week and I forgot to make a report on it. I attended for the SSCCC. The main takeaway I would just like everyone to be aware of is that I mentioned that bill that makes homelessness an extenuating circumstance, and almost every professor on the board, I don't know, they're not professors, they're just financial aid administrators, and they all had very, very concerning views on the topic, and thought basically that the homeless students need to do more if they want any financial aid. And it was very concerning. I'm not going to go into it fully here so I don't misspeak, but both me and Jasmine Prasad, who were in the meeting, were very concerned with their attitudes towards that. The second thing is, I'm not sure if many members are aware, but there is talks in the California State Legislature. Well, not talks, there's action going on to implement this thing called the California Data System. And basically what it's going to do is make a system with all of every student in California's data. And what it's going to be used for is they're going to de-identify our data and then provide it to researchers in order to allow them to do a bunch of tests and stuff like that to prospectively make the education system better for us. But that won't be up and running for another like 5 years, and it's been in the works for many years before this. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about was I went to the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges Open Educational Resources Initiative Advisory Committee. And what they're working on is just making more OERs, which is Open Educational Resources, available to all the different professors across the state, so that there is basically what it does is it's free course materials. So it makes it so that the courses will be cheaper, and they're more customizable, and it makes things better for the students. So there's work going on with that, and they're working on making more courses for students to work on, because there's not that many courses out there in the broad range of subjects covered at community colleges.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, any other committee reports? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to board member reports and announcements.
Chair.
Go ahead.
So I've had a student reach out to me talking about they're experiencing homeless right now and like their position, stuff like that. And I was wondering if you know, or anyone here knows, like campus resources for students that are homeless, because I don't really know where to get that and I want to help them out.
Brett is the perfect person to reach out to that, because he's our, homeless liaisons,
Housing and security liaison.
Thank you.
So Sasha, if you have their contact info, just forward it, email it to me, and I'll reach out to them.
Okay. I'll also give them your email. Is that okay, to see if they want to reach out to you? Okay. Thank you.
So you brought it to the right place, because Brett is there. Thank you, Sasha.
Chair.
Good.
So I can give you a CABE update. We allocated a budget for the self-care student engagement project, working closely with Mario Rodriguez from the CLD. So we will be hosting several Zoom events, specifically related towards like a de-stressor for mental health. So more to come on that. Mario has vigorously been working with different vendors to host some events. So I was glad that we were able to finally start moving forward with this. So I'll have some more updates probably next week.
I did want to bring up that, like, not next week, but the week after, I won't be able to make it to the CABE meeting. So if someone wants to step in as our Senate representative for CABE, let me know.
Chair.
Beheshta, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about the student access card, which you are so lovely sporting as your Zoom profile pic.
Oh yeah, thank you. So as you can see, my profile, it is the Zoom access card, the temple, which one of our sages, Ethan, he did a great job and he created that. And yeah, I will share the link with you and you can email to all the ASB members. They can make their Zoom profile access card and the introduction is so clear. Ethan already he made a video tutorial and also we have the tutorial, everything. It's linked with it's on link and you can make that. It's so good and we already received good feedbacks and students really like that, and it had the option to put like to add your any position you are, if you're just a student, if you're a part of ASB, and also add your major profile and everything, even if you don't wanna so it's mostly for those students who doesn't wanna turn on the video, like a shy person like me, and it looks so professional. And it's good, like the student or the person you're in a meeting, they know who are you and the face, everything, the picture is clear.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
with you and you can email the link.
I am planning on putting mine, so I'm excited for it. So, thanks for sharing. I think some events, right? The STEM Center, the Women of STEM and Pride and STEM are putting on their science fair. I think it's October 30th, right? October, which is unfortunately the same day as that student impression panel. So I will try to make both. I really want to. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think Amy's on the call anymore. She had to step out, but they're having a Sages. They're having a pet something. I don't know if Beheshta, you have more information about that. Pet contest, I think.
I think it was a photo contest.
Pet photo contest. Okay.
Yeah, it is the Amy project. I think that's a cool idea to show their pets on a Zoom. So I think she got that idea from her class. The professor, like the dog just popped up on Zoom and all the students were so excited. So she brought that idea and said your next project for our Sage student ambassador will be that case.
So I am looking forward to that too. So I got to figure it out. I don't know how to get my dog to sit still though. So I have to figure that out too. Okay, let's see, catching up on the chat. Trio SSS STEM event, de-stress circle date, October 29th, 2020 from 1 to 2. Do you want to say anything more about this, Mary Kay?
Yeah, I was just waiting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're having a de-stress circle event. Based on like student survey and stuff, people are feeling very overwhelmed and stressed. So we're having this event just to have a safe space for people to kind of talk, share. And during that time, we'll also have a counselor present, just in case anyone needs like additional support. And we're also going to be giving effective ways to manage and prevent stress. So things that you can do at home, things that you can do with your phone, and resources that are available for free as well.
Awesome, thank you. And I think if there's nothing else, let's see, any other board member reports or announcements?
Yeah, I have a personal thing to share.
Oh, go ahead.
So I absolutely despise running. It's like I hate it, like with all my heart, with all my soul. I played like semi-professionally basketball, so I'm pretty good at running short distances quickly, but long distances I don't know, I hate it absolutely. And so I thought, well, if I hate it, I gotta do it because I can't really run. And I thought, well, it was like a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. That I thought I should probably like try at least like 2 miles run. And then I ran 2.5, and I thought I can do more. And so I thought let's make a goal. And so the goal was to run 5 miles on at least by October 22nd. And um, I was late by one day, but today I ran 5 miles, and I feel like I can do more. I feel like I can do 6. So yeah, running became a pretty good thing to have in the morning.
Hey, congrats. I'm still at the I don't like running long distance phase, unfortunately. So, let's see. Anybody else? Personal achievements.
I've reached the final. Okay, my I know the writer of this novel is trash. Make that clear. But I started this novel in March when when COVID started, and I never read Harry Potter before. So like, okay, I'm gonna make it my mission to read this. And today I got to the final book finally, like after like since March to October, and I'm like so excited to finally finish Harry Potter, and just it's crazy.
So, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but I'm like a super duper Harry Potter fan. Like my whole room is decorated with Harry Potter, and it's like my life. So yay. Okay. So we're running out of time on this. So we're gonna move on to public comment. Thank you of hearing Harry Potter announcements. Public comment. This time is reserved for members of the public to address the Student Senate on issues not already appearing on the agenda. A limit of 2 minutes per speaker shall be observed with a maximum of 4 minutes per topic. No discussion is allotted on public comment. The law does not permit any action to be taken, nor extended discussions of any items not on the agenda. The ASB Student Senate may briefly respond to statements made. For questions posed, however, for further information, please contact the ASB Student Senate President for the item of discussion to be placed on a future agenda. Yes, Ravenclaw. Oh my God. What, Brett? No. Oh. Okay, sorry. You're distracting. You guys are distracting me. Okay, is there any member from the public who wishes to make a comment? Oh my God, did someone say Quidditch?
I'll say it for my public comment. Last 2019, early 2019, the Western Regional College Championships for Quidditch. So like Berkeley has a team, and Utah State or someone like that. And they were all playing out in Roseville, and we went. And I know nothing about Harry Potter. I know nothing about the game, but it was quite fun to watch. So that's my public comment for today.
I have never read the book. I have never watched the movies. I'm obviously living under a rock somewhere, but never watched any movies, never read the book. Like, I'm leaving it for future, Naomi. Think about this.
Hang on, wait a second.
If God forbid in 2020 continues and we still have to like quarantine and read books, at least I have stuff to read and things to watch, is all I'm saying. There you go. Naomi, you okay? Did you pass out? Did she pass out? Oh, wow. Look at your room.
This is the hallway, but yeah. No, I'm not kidding about Harry Potter. I'm like, seriously, no, it's a problem.
For a second, I thought you passed out. I'm like, Naomi, are you okay?
Okay, that totally off topic, but yeah. Anyone else from the public who wishes to make a comment? No, so many people who don't know anything about Harry Potter. Oh, okay. Hearing and seeing no public comment, this meeting will be adjourned at 12:27 p.m. Okay. Hearing no objections, the meeting is adjourned. Recording Stop.